On a fateful day that began like any other, Baron Trump was about to discover the profound impact a single encounter could have on a stranger's life. As he stepped out of Trump Tower, the familiar sounds of New York City enveloped him, the honking of taxis, the chatter of pedestrians, and the distant melody of street performers. um, Baron adjusted his baseball hat, a small attempt to blend in, feeling the weight of expectations on his shoulders, even in this vibrant atmosphere. In sharp contrast, just a few blocks away, the atmosphere shifted dramatically. The air grew heavier, filled with the scent of food vendors and the hustle of a different kind of life. Here, a man named Jake sat on a weathered bench, his hands calloused from years of labor and his clothes frayed at the edges. The laughter of children playing nearby seemed like a distant echo to him, a reminder of simpler times. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows over the pavement, heightening the emotional weight of his solitude. As Baron walked through the park, he couldn't help but notice the disparity in the lives around him. Families enjoyed their picnics on the green, oblivious to the struggles of those like Jake. The laughter and joy felt like a world away from the reality of hardship and despair that Jake faced daily. Little did Baron know, as he navigated this bustling city filled with life and adventure, that his path would soon intertwine with Jake's in a way that would forever change them both. "What is it, Jake?" "Too easy to find you if you stick around town. Cerro Nevada, the home to most accessible high schools in Toronto." Baron Trump, at 15, was not just the son of a billionaire. He was a young man wrestling with the weight of the world. His days were filled with the privileges of wealth, luxurious schools, private lessons, and exclusive events. But beneath the surface, he often felt isolated. As he gazed out of his penthouse window, watching the city pulse with life, he couldn't shake the feeling that his life was a gilded cage. He often found solace in books, immersing himself in stories of adventure and resilience, drawn to characters who overcame obstacles. One day, while reading about a young hero who used his wealth to help others, Baron pondered, what if I could do something meaningful too? The pressure of living in the public eye weighed heavily on him. He was constantly aware of the scrutiny from the media and the expectations of his family. Inside, he felt a strong desire to make a difference, to use his privilege responsibly. Yet, he often wondered, can I truly understand the struggles of those less fortunate? It was this internal conflict that shaped his character, fueling a quiet compassion that would soon be put to the test. Jake was a man marked by hardship. Once a proud worker in a construction company, he had lost his job during a sudden layoff, a victim of circumstances beyond his control. Now, at 40, he found himself grappling with the harsh realities of life, struggling to provide for his young daughter Mia, who had recently started school. The memories of better days haunted him, the family dinners filled with laughter, the joy of teaching Mia to ride a bike, and the dreams he had for their future. Every morning, Jake would wake up early, putting on his best clothes, worn but clean, and heading to the local job center, hoping for a miracle. With each rejection, the weight of despair grew heavier on his shoulders. He often caught himself staring at the families in the park, feeling a pang of envy mixed with sorrow. Will I ever find work again? He would wonder, fear gnawing at his heart. His greatest hope was to give Mia the life she deserved, free from the struggles he faced. As he sat on that bench, his mind drifted to the dreams he had once nurtured, flickering like a candle in the wind, desperately fighting for survival. It was a crisp Saturday morning when Baron decided to volunteer at a local shelter, a rare opportunity for him to step away from his privileged life and connect with the community. The atmosphere buzzed with energy as volunteers prepared meals for those in need. As he moved through the crowd, he noticed Jake standing by the entrance, his posture tense, hands shoved deep into his pockets. The flickering anxiety in Jake's eyes caught Baron's attention. Suddenly, Jake's phone buzzed, pulling him away from the moment. Baron watched as Jake's expression shifted from hopeful to distressed, his shoulders slumping as he listened intently. The words, rent and eviction, floated through the air, heavy with implications. Barron felt a knot tighten in his stomach. Something was deeply troubling Jake, and he couldn't ignore it. And this chance encounter was about to change everything for both of them. Feeling an inexplicable urge to reach out, Barron approached Jake, who was still lost in thought. "Hey, is everything okay?" Barron asked, concern etched on his face. Jake glanced up, momentarily startled by the young man's directness. "Just, life," he replied, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Barron pressed on. "You seem worried." "I'm really sorry to hear that," Barron said quietly, his heart aching for the stranger. In that moment, something clicked between them. Barron felt a connection, the kind that transcended their different worlds. "What can I do to help?" he asked, determination rising within him. This was just the beginning of a journey that would challenge everything he thought he knew about life and responsibility. Over the next few weeks, Barron and Jake continued to meet at the shelter, a routine that slowly transformed into a friendship. Each Saturday, Barron arrived with a sense of purpose, eager to lend a hand and learn more about Jake's life. Their conversations flowed easily, revealing the depth of their personalities. One afternoon, while preparing sandwiches, Barron joked, "If I keep making these, I might just become a chef. What do you think?" Jake chuckled, his laughter a welcome sound. "As long as you don't try to make sushi, I'm not ready for a raw fish experience." Their shared laughter broke down the barriers that once separated them. As they worked side by side, Jake shared stories from his past, his love for building things, the pride he felt when he completed a project, and the joy of having a family. In turn, Barron opened up about the pressures of his life. "Sometimes I feel like I'm living in a bubble. People expect so much from me just because of who I am," he confessed one day. His expression serious. "I can't imagine what that's like," Jake replied, nodding thoughtfully. "But it sounds like you have a good heart. That counts for something." Their bond deepened with each shared story, each moment of vulnerability. Yet, the underlying tension of Jake's situation lingered. Barron could see the worry etched in Jake's features, especially when they discussed finances. As weeks passed, Barron found himself increasingly introspective. He would often sit on the park bench after volunteering, watching the world around him. The laughter of children playing and families enjoying their day felt like a stark contrast to Jake's struggles. Why is it so easy for some while others face so many obstacles? He pondered, grappling with a sense of injustice. He reflected on his own life, the luxurious lifestyle, the endless opportunities, and the expectations placed upon him. "What have I done to deserve all this?" he questioned silently, a weight settling in his chest. The more time he spent with Jake, the more he realized how distant his life felt from the reality of those around him. He began to notice the subtle hardships. People rushing by, faces lined with worrying, children looking up at their parents with confused expressions. With each encounter, the internal conflict grew. Barron felt an urgent need to help Jake, to do something meaningful. But what could he do? "If I step out of my comfort zone, what will people think?" he mused, wrestling with the fear of judgment. He envisioned the headlines, the scrutiny of the public eye, and the expectations of his family. Is it worth the risk, he questioned, his heart racing with uncertainty. Yet, he also felt a flicker of hope, an understanding that perhaps this was the very purpose of his privilege, to lend a hand to those who needed it most. Maybe I can make a difference, even in a small way, he thought, the determination growing within him. But the question remained, how far was he willing to go to support Jake without losing himself in the process? One evening, as Barron sat in his room surrounded by the luxurious comforts of his life, he couldn't shake the image of Jake's weary face from his mind. The weight of the decision pressed heavily on his chest. What if I do something that invites scrutiny? He thought, anxiety bubbling within him. The idea of helping Jake meant stepping into uncharted territory, risking public backlash and the media's relentless gaze. Yet, as he recalled their conversations, the laughter, the shared stories, and the deepening bond, Barron felt a surge of determination. This isn't just about me, he reminded himself. He envisioned Jake's daughter, Mia, and how much she deserved a stable life. The thought ignited a fire within him. I can't just stand by and watch, he concluded, his resolve solidifying. Taking a deep breath, Barron reached for his phone, his fingers trembling as he typed out a message to Jake. Can we talk? I have an idea that might help. With that simple phrase, Barron knew he was stepping into a new chapter, one that would challenge his understanding of privilege and responsibility, and potentially alter the course of both their lives. Now, when Barron met Jake at the shelter a few days later, the air was thick with anticipation. Barron's heart raced as he approached Jake, who was busy organizing supplies. Hey, can we talk? Barron said, his voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions inside him. Jake looked up, curiosity etched on his face. They found a quiet corner and Barron took a deep breath. I've been thinking a lot about your situation, and I want to help. He paused, gauging Jake's reaction, then continued. I can offer financial assistance to help with your rent, and I'd love to mentor you in finding a new job in construction. I believe in your skills. For a moment, silence enveloped them. Jake's eyes widened, disbelief washing over his features. You're serious? He whispered, his voice trembling with emotion. Tears glimmered in his eyes as the gravity of Barron's words sank in. I don't know what to say. This is incredible. You don't know how much this means to me and Mia. Barron felt a warmth spread through him as he watched Jake's expression shift from shock to profound gratitude. In that moment, their worlds converged, and Barron realized that this simple act of kindness could not only change Jake's life but also reshape his own understanding of purpose and responsibility. In the weeks following Barron's generous offer, Jake's life began to transform. With Barron's financial assistance, Jake was able to pay his overdue rent, alleviating the looming threat of eviction. He felt a renewed sense of hope, a flicker of optimism that had long been extinguished. Encouraged by Barron's mentorship, Jake applied for several construction jobs and, to his delight, received an offer from a local company eager to hire someone with his skills. With Barron's guidance, he even considered starting a small handyman business, using his expertise to serve the community while providing for Mia. Together, they crafted a plan, and Jake felt invigorated by the prospect of building something of his own. The weight of despair that had once burdened him began to lift, replaced by a sense of purpose and ambition that he hadn't felt in years. News of Barron and Jake's partnership spread quickly through the local community, sparking conversations filled with admiration and inspiration. Social media erupted with posts celebrating Barron's kindness. Hashtags like Barron Cares and Community Heroes trended across platforms. At the local cafe, patrons chatted animatedly about the unlikely friendship. Can you believe it? A kid from that family stepped up to help someone like Jake, one woman exclaimed to her friend, her voice filled with excitement. Yes, I've heard so much, from so many babies. In the days that followed, more people began to volunteer at the shelter, inspired by Barron's gesture. If he can do it, so can we, a local teacher remarked during a community meeting, rallying others to join in. The atmosphere shifted, infused with a sense of unity and collective responsibility. Barron's actions not only changed Jake's life, they ignited a spirit of kindness that resonated throughout the neighborhood, reminding everyone of the profound impact one person can have on another's life. As the weeks turned into months, Barron often found himself reflecting on the profound impact of his encounter with Jake. One quiet evening, while gazing out at the city skyline, he realized how much he had grown through their friendship. He remembered Jake's emotional reaction when he offered help and the gratitude etched on his face. It struck Barron that the simplest gestures could spark significant change, not just for others, but for himself. He felt a weight lift off his shoulders, the burden of privilege transformed into a purpose. Barron understood that true wealth was not defined by material possessions, but by the connections we nurture and the lives we touch. This realization ignited a desire within him to seek out more opportunities to help, to be a bridge for others in need, and to lead by example. Barron's journey serves as a powerful reminder that each of us has the capacity for kindness, regardless of our circumstances. As you reflect on this story, consider the small actions you can take to make a difference in someone's life. It could be as simple as offering a listening ear, volunteering your time, or supporting someone facing hardship. Compassion is contagious. It creates a ripple effect that can transform communities. When you reach out to help others, you not only uplift them, but also inspire those around you to do the same. Remember, every act of kindness, no matter how small, has the potential to create waves of change. Let Barron and Jake's story inspire you to harness your own power of compassion and effect change in the world around you. Barron, together we can build a more caring and connected society.